Citizen U presents UFO, where you find out.
We're the two teachers, and today you're going to find out how to plan it. How to plan for your AP American Government test by learning about the first foundations.
Foundations, and let's bring out our Hubble telescope as we huddle today, looking at the foundations of government more carefully.
It's Hubble.
Well, Andy, if you ask me, the single most important question asked, not only by our founders, but by us today is, how do we have a strong government without making it too strong?
Well, you have to have that structure that we looked at with the U.S. Constitution. Remember, the Constitution was correcting the errors of our first government, the Articles of Confederation.
Are you telling me we started with failure?
We did start with failure. The Articles of Confederation, which gave way too much power to those individual state governments and not enough power to the central government.
So the Founding Fathers came together in Philadelphia to remedy those problems. How do you make a stronger government? We needed certain government functions. We needed a government to regulate commerce. We needed a government to keep us safe. Some of the same issues we face today.
And we needed a government that had the power to be able to collect taxes, to provide for a military, and to be able to regulate interstate trade to create a national economy.
Andy, they did this without giving too much power in one place, and we call this the separation of powers. We also recognize the importance of checks and balances. This doesn't mean that the three branches work independently from each other, but rather they overlap, but they also keep an eye on each other. Each respective branch has unique powers, but also unique oversights of the other branches.
And no better example of that than the Great Compromise. The biggest sticking point in that Constitutional Convention was how to divide the powers of Congress into two chambers and how to best represent states in those two chambers.
But Andy, let's not forget the fundamental, foundational idea of American government, and that is we the people. Popular sovereignty. Popular sovereignty simply means, and it's not so simple because very few can actually pull it off, is that the ultimate legitimacy and authority of any government is found in the will of the people. Andy, that is the great American experiment. Can we self-govern?
Well, that's how the foundations created not a democracy in the U.S. government, but rather a republic, where we, the people, elect officials to make decisions for us. Only one office in that original Constitution was directly elected, and that was the House of Representatives. The senators were initially appointed by the state governments, and of course the president was, and still is, indirectly elected through the Electoral College.
Andy, central to any government where the will of the people are fundamental is civil liberties and civil rights. Civil liberties are those individual rights like free speech, free press, free religion, and they combine to make our preferred position. Those rights that we value at the very deepest core of our being. But we also have civil rights, and civil rights are more collective, when groups of people demand equality, because that's exactly what our government promises. Not only liberty for all, but also equality.
That's right. Today you learned about the planet, the first planet, that being the foundation, the underpinnings of American government and politics.
This has been UFO, where you find out. We're the two teachers. No fancy words.
No fancy suits.
Plain talk about issues you need to know.
Just in time.